The wind whispered through the empty streets as the clock struck midnight, and the city of Harlow Falls seemed to exhale, every light flickering as though the town itself feared what came after dark. Emily Carter pulled her coat tighter, her boots echoing against the pavement as she hurried down the cracked sidewalk. She had stayed late at the university library again, her shift as a night clerk ending far later than usual. It was supposed to be a quiet night, the kind where she could sip coffee and shelve returned books in peace, but something had been wrong from the beginning. The air had felt heavier. The silence had felt watched. And now, walking home beneath the dim yellow streetlights, she could swear she heard footsteps matching her own, always a beat behind. Emily had grown used to the city's nightlife, the hum of faraway cars, the occasional shout from a bar. But tonight, it was too quiet, like the world had paused just for her. When she turned the corner onto Marrow Street, she saw it, a woman standing at the far end of the alley, pale and still, her long hair hanging over her face. Emily froze. The woman didn't move. For a moment, she wondered if it was just someone waiting for a bus, but the bus stop sign was gone, torn down months ago. The woman lifted her head slowly, and Emily's heart seized. The face was featureless, smooth, gray skin where eyes and mouth should be. Emily stumbled back, her breath catching, and when she looked again, the woman was gone. Her phone had no signal, though the tower blinked red above the buildings nearby. Every time she passed under a streetlight, it dimmed until she was swallowed in darkness, then flared back to life once she stepped out. She forced herself to keep walking, whispering, "It's nothing. It's nothing." But the whispers around her disagreed. They rose from the shadows, faint and female, saying her name in breaths. Emily. Emily, come back. She ran the last 2 blocks to her apartment, fumbling for her keys, her hands shaking so badly that they slipped. When she finally burst inside, she slammed the door, locked every bolt, and leaned against it, her chest heaving. Silence. Then a faint knock. Once, twice, 3 times. She peered through the peephole. Nothing. The hallway was empty, but as she backed away, her reflection in the mirror beside the door stayed still a moment too long. She froze again. Slowly, her reflection smiled, even though she hadn't. Then it tilted its head and mouthed words she couldn't hear. Emily screamed, throwing the mirror to the floor, shattering it. For a heartbeat, she saw something moving in shards. A woman's face, pale and grinning, crawling closer through the reflection before vanishing entirely. Emily ran to her bedroom and locked the door. She sat in the corner, clutching her phone, trying again for signal. It blinked to life for a second, a text from an unknown number. "We see you." Then it went dark. Her breath came fast, and she could feel the air in the room change, colder, like someone had opened a window. She looked toward the curtains. They fluttered though the window was closed. Then came the whisper, closer this time, "Why did you look?" She turned, and the woman was standing behind her, that same featureless face inches away. Emily screamed, lunging forward, knocking over the lamp. Darkness swallowed her again. When the light flickered back on, the woman was gone, but on the wall, written in something dark and wet, were the words, "After dark, you belong to US." Terrified, Emily fled her apartment. The hallways seemed endless, stretching and twisting in impossible ways. Every door she tried led her back to the same corridor. The lights above her began to flicker faster until they went out entirely. Then she heard dozens of footsteps, bare feet slapping the tiles, coming closer from every direction. She pressed herself against the wall, covering her mouth. When the lights flickered again, she wasn't alone. Figures lined the hallway. Men, women, even children, all with the same blank faces, standing motionless, their heads tilted toward her. The hum of the lights grew louder, vibrating in her skull. She screamed and ran blindly, tripping over her own feet, slamming into a door that gave way, spilling her into a stairwell. She tumbled down the steps, her head cracking against the concrete. Everything went black. When she opened her eyes, she was lying on the street outside her building. It was still night, but the sky looked wrong, darker, heavier, no stars at all. Her phone said 12:01 a.m., the same time it had been when she left the library. She tried calling 911, but all she got was static, and through it, a voice whispered, "You shouldn't have run." She staggered to her feet and looked around. Every building was dark, every window shattered. The city looked abandoned, but not empty. She could feel eyes on her from the shadows. "Hello," she called out. "Is anyone there?" A soft laugh answered from behind her. She spun around to see a little girl in a white dress standing under a flickering streetlight. The girl's eyes were black pits, her smile stretching impossibly wide. "You came back," the child said. "We've been waiting." Emily backed away slowly. "Where am I?" she whispered. The girl tilted her head. "Where you belong, after dark." Emily turned and ran again, her footsteps echoing down the endless street. No matter how far she went, she always ended up back at her building. She tried to go inside, but the lobby was different now. Dark water pooled across the floor, and in its reflection, she saw dozens of versions of herself standing in the shadows, all smiling. One of them stepped forward from the reflection, pale and trembling, but grinning like the rest. "It's easier if you stop fighting," her reflection said, voice cold and hollow. "You're already one of us." Emily stumbled backward, shaking her head. "No, this isn't real." But the reflection only smiled wider and stepped through the glass, its hand reaching for her throat. She swung her arm wildly, breaking the mirror again, but instead of shattering, the surface rippled like water. A hand shot out, grabbing her wrist, yanking her forward. She screamed, her body pulled into the reflection. Emily woke up, gasping in her bed, drenched in sweat. Morning light streamed through the curtains. Birds chirped. Her clock read 8 a.m. For a long time, she just lay there, shaking, whispering, "It was a dream. It was a dream." But when she got up and looked in the mirror, she froze. Her reflection smiled again, just like before. This time it spoke. "You never woke up." Emily backed away, but the reflection reached out from inside the glass, touching her cheek. She felt it, cold and real. The mirror rippled again, and her reflection dragged her in one final time. The apartment was silent. The mirror stilled. On the other side, in that dark reflection world, Emily stood among the faceless figures, her own eyes now black voids, her voice joining the whisper that filled the empty streets. After dark, we wait. Days later, neighbors reported that Emily Carter hadn't been seen since that night. Police entered her apartment to find every mirror covered in handprints from the inside, and the phrase "after dark" scrawled across the walls in black. Her phone was found on the floor, the screen still glowing, displaying that same unread message. "We see you."